good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you're watching this in the world. I hope you guys are doing okay. Boy, yesterday was a bit of a crazy one. Everyone was basically commenting on the Pig of the Hut situation. His tweets sort of started a firestorm. Looked like it went kind of viral to me. After it was all said and done and everyone said their piece and I dropped my video and everybody else had dropped their videos, I sat back and I watched everybody's takes on the situation. And I spoke to Dynasty very briefly. I spoke to Ketchup, spoke to a couple of people. Then I sat down to really digest what was going on. And it's ultimately really kind of sad to see where Mortal Kombat's community is right now. And I know I play a part in that as well. I don't shy away from that. I hold my hands up to that. I don't think the part I play in it is necessarily negative, although because of the passion that people feel for Mortal Kombat, sometimes it can manifest itself in negative ways. And the reason that I'm never too aggressive with my approach towards these things is that even though the people that disagree with me might say things that I don't like, I know that ultimately most of us here are passionate about Mortal Kombat. Now, there are some people that obviously fan the flames of chaos and some people that will intentionally make videos to wind people up and will make videos pointing fingers at people when their rhetoric can easily be disproven by a couple clicks. But for the most part, most of us are passionate about Mortal Kombat and most of us want to see it do well. And that comes from both sides of the aisle. And I want the people to know that even if you disagree with me, and even for the ones that are like, you shouldn't talk about Mortal Kombat, I kind of hear where some of you are coming from. Not that I agree with you, because I wholeheartedly don't. And I definitely don't agree with the notion that content creators' names should be put on lists just because they're speaking openly. I think that's pretty ridiculous and an absolutely shameful thing to tweet out. But for the people in my comment section, sometimes you'll comment and you'll say, why don't you move on? Stop talking about Mortal Kombat. It's not that bad. This, that, and the other. I know that some people are doing it from a place of, can you leave the game that I love alone? And I know that it's just a game, but obviously this is a gaming channel and all of us that are interacting in this are gamers. And on some level, we love these games. We've grown up with them, we've got fond memories of them, we've built friendships around them, and we want to see the games do well. Some of us manifest our anger in ways like me, or our disappointment rather, where you'll come on YouTube and you'll voice your opinions in hopes that something changes. Some people will see it as a moment to capitalize and to just make endless videos pointing at people, calling them names, not really offering any constructive criticism. And some people will shy away from it and they'll accept it for what it is, or they'll say, I don't want to talk about it, I just want to move on. Or you'll even get some people saying that, can we just play it and stop talking about it? And I think that comes from a place of wanting to protect something that you love, even though you're not necessarily getting paid by the company. Now, that's not to say that there's not shills. I stand by what I said in that video yesterday. Pig of the Hut's tweet was very incriminating to me. I don't see how you cannot take that as being paid. But there are some individuals who are just like me, who sit at home playing the game and they see some things online and it riles them up. And I've given the example before of One Piece. Sometimes when I see One Piece slander, even though I don't say anything because it's just not in me, if people don't like One Piece, unless I'm talking in a group chat with my friends, I'm not going to go into their videos and say stop talking about it, because I think that's pretty ridiculous personally. I understand the sentiment, I understand the feeling, seeing their comments and being like, huh? What do you mean? Like, I saw this guy and he was talking about what the most overrated animes were and what the most underrated anime was, and he said the most underrated anime was Boruto and the most overrated was One Piece. And every fiber of my being started burning. I started boiling. My blood was boiling. And it's that tribalistic feeling like you're playing for your team, even though these people that you watch the content from don't even know who you are. It's like with football teams. Football fans get very passionate when you talk badly about their teams, even though the footballers will never meet them and never pay their bills. It's the same way when I was growing up, I used to love The Undertaker. I'd always defend him in school. You know, like the whole PlayStation, Xbox gang, we had it for WWE and WCW in my school as well. So I understand all of that sentiment. But I do want to provide a little bit of context. There was one tweet that I saw, and maybe this is something that is on the minds of a few people, and so I can kind of give people some context as to why my foot is in this game and why I'm making my voice known, and maybe why sometimes I seem to be not always the center of what is going on. But certainly yesterday my name was getting thrown around quite a lot, and obviously I went through the tweets and I read everything that people were saying, and I know that people are not coming from a nasty place. I know people either have their suspicions or their questions. Now, there was one tweet in particular that I actually managed to screen grab. However, I believe it's been deleted because I think this individual probably realized what they said was a little bit off, and I'll read it out to you guys now. Now, it's from an individual whose username is 842428, and he said, I get what you mean, and this is with regards to people criticizing Mortal Kombat. He says, I get what you mean, but personally, I don't mind it as much from Tom Brady, because Mortal Kombat is his thing, whereas it's a lot more questionable when someone like Mike Hollow, who is primarily a Tekken player, has more MK hate videos than Tekken videos. If you hate Mortal Kombat that much, go play your fighting game. A couple clips were sent over to me from people saying, see, this is a Tekken player, he has no real stake in Mortal Kombat and he's just here grifting for views. And so I thought it'd be good to point this out because, as always, there's very easy ways to dispel things. My goal is not to say to people, I gotcha, although there are definitely some people that would see a tweet like that and go, see, I told you so. But for the wider audience, if you're wondering, I'll give you a bit of a history lesson so you can see where I'm coming from. Now, all you have to do is go to my channel and click oldest. At the very top of the screen, you'll see where it says popular, newest, and oldest. And when you go on there, the first videos you're going to see are some videos of me and my friends reacting to some martial arts films, and a couple of movie reviews, and there's a couple of like Mario Kart videos. But the first fighting game that you actually see on my channel is SoulCalibur, and that's SoulCalibur 6. However, we'll go a little bit further back. Looking at this screenshot, you can see that that's me there. Now, I'm not showing you this to toot my own horn. It's nothing like that. It's just to give you guys some context as to where I'm coming from when it comes to fighting games. I was the #1 ranked player on SoulCalibur 5 on the leaderboards for PlayStation. And I was the #1 ranked player on SoulCalibur 5 for a very, very long time. I will say, like, quite proudly, in the entire time that I was playing SoulCalibur 5 online, I think I won over 1,000 matches and I only lost about 6. So to say that I was involved in SoulCalibur 5 quite heavily would be an understatement. Now, SoulCalibur 5 was released the 31st of January 2012, and Tekken Tag 2 was released on the 14th of September 2011. And the reason I bring up Tekken Tag 2 is that I was also playing that game. However, I didn't actually capture any footage for this channel. It was captured on a friend's channel a long time ago, and I don't think he has the channel anymore, so I can't really show you any of that match footage. But some of the older Tekken heads will remember that I was playing Tekken Tag 2 at the time. Around the same time, I was also playing Mortal Kombat 9. You guys will probably remember, and if some of you don't, I'll show you the match footage here. This is me in the grand finals against Problem X, who is the EVO World Champion. So I played Mortal Kombat 9 for a long time. So I was playing all 3 fighting games, and I was playing all 3 of them to a decent level. I'd say less so on Tekken. Tekken Tag 2 was a very difficult game. I kind of got turned off by it just because I was just getting whooped constantly. Although as time went on, I did get better. But Mortal Kombat and SoulCalibur were my main games. 2015 came around and I switched over to Mortal Kombat 10, which for my money is the best modern Mortal Kombat game to date. And as you guys can see there, I was also the #1 ranked Mortal Kombat 10 player, I believe in EU, I don't think worldwide. And I was #1 on the EU leaderboards for quite some time. I actually made some good friends on the Mortal Kombat leaderboards. There was one guy in particular called Jeff Meister. He was a Ermac player and his Ermac was absolutely insane. So for those of you that think that I'm a Tekken player, that's actually not the case. I have also competed to a very high level on Smash Brothers. I went around the UK competing in different tournaments and I placed fairly well. I never won, I never even got top 3, but I was in the top 8 quite a few times. I think my highest placement was top 4. Can't remember what the tournament was, but I believe it was in a hotel in London. It was a very, very long time ago. Unfortunately, I don't have any of that match footage. But as you guys can see, I was very heavily involved in Mortal Kombat and in SoulCalibur. And if you go through my channel, you can see that my content then went on to Mortal Kombat 11. And after a year of playing Mortal Kombat 11 and really understanding the game, I started to make criticisms on it. I did that for a while and then decided to transition away from that because I kind of got tired of talking about it and I started talking about everything to do with games. So for those of you that were wondering what kind of fighting game player I am, if I'm a Tekken player, the answer is no. I'm not a Mortal Kombat player, I'm not a Tekken player, I'm not a SoulCalibur player, and I'm not a Street Fighter player. And you'll find Street Fighter videos on my channel. As you guys saw recently, I have a master rank Honda. I like playing loads of different fighting games and I can play most of them to a competent level. SoulCalibur 5 and Mortal Kombat 10 being the 2 that I think I was the best at and the 2 that I think I won the most tournaments at. As you can see here, this is a tournament match in the grand finals of me versus King of Hyrule. King of Hyrule, to some of the more OG players, was the best SoulCalibur player in the UK for a very long time. And I would say that even when I was competing, he was still the best player. I luckily had his number. I don't know why, but every time we'd come up across each other, I would really wind him up. But shout out to King of Hyrule, Duncan. He's a wonderful guy. I actually miss him. He was a really cool guy to play games with. Very, very knowledgeable. I don't think he's playing SoulCalibur anymore, but those were some good times. SoulCalibur 5 was a really, really good game. game. And then obviously if you go through my channel a bit more, you'll see SoulCalibur 6 on there. Eventually I do put Tekken 7 on there, and obviously now we're at Tekken 8. So that is to dispel the notion that I am a Tekken player. I'm not. I'm just somebody that plays fighting games, and sometimes I get really good at some of them and sometimes I'm mediocre. Mortal Kombat, I would say, next to SoulCalibur, is the one that I've played the most. And so if you were to really call me by anything, it would either be a SoulCalibur player or a Mortal Kombat player. I'm kind of a displaced fighting game player. I don't know where to put my foot. So if you ever hear somebody saying that I'm a Tekken player and I'm just doing this for views, that's actually not the case. I have a vast amount of knowledge of Mortal Kombat. I compete at a very high level. There's videos on my channel of me playing very high level players like that Pro Stunner. I don't know if you guys remember him. There's other videos on my channel of me playing very good Mortal Kombat 11 players and hanging in there and sometimes even beating them. So that's mainly why I'm involved in this right now, because even though I'm not at a Sonic Fox level or a Ninja Killer level, I'm competent enough and I love the series enough to say to you guys I have been here the entire time. I just haven't really made my voice known. But I think with the state that Mortal Kombat 1's in and the state the community is in, I think it's high time that people spoke up and spoke constructively. I don't think it's any good sitting in a dark room pointing at the camera screaming at people, because that doesn't really help anything. Yeah, it might look a bit bombastic and a bit flamboyant or whatever you might want to call it, but ultimately what we all want here is for Mortal Kombat to be well. So really this video is just to say that I understand the anger from all sides, and I understand the anger is probably going to continue to grow, and there's probably going to be people saying shut up, don't talk about it. There's going to be people saying continue talking about it. This is the only way we get change. Like I said to Pig, and like I said to everybody else, I'm not here for a handout from NRS. I'm not particularly here to make friends either, although with these sort of things you do make friends along the way, and I'm very grateful for all the people in my Discord and very grateful for all the people that message me. What I'm here to do is to hopefully get through to somebody over at NRS that has some integrity and understands that I don't hate Mortal Kombat. I don't even particularly hate anybody that works for the team. I'm trying to get the message across that we are dissatisfied with the game. Now Mortal Kombat does sell well, you know, it's up to 3 million copies. It'll probably go further beyond that as more characters drop, but that's not to say that there's not work that needs to be done on the game. And even if you take my gameplay suggestions and you scrap them, there's still things within the Mortal Kombat 1 game that can be heavily improved, and there are things that we expect as consumers on release day to be working. Some people are more accepting and they don't mind. I saw Pig of the Hut saying yesterday that he only cares about gameplay, he's not interested in story mode and invasions and all that stuff, and that's all well and good for him, but he's one person. And if you sell a package to people and you include other modes, we expect those modes to be working properly. If they're not working properly, then we're going to have something to say about it. I think as consumers it's our right to speak up about it. Now people get attached to franchises, and Mortal Kombat has a rich legacy and a lot of people are attached to it, and that is true for myself. Now I've been very vocal in saying that I am more of a 3D player, and so I still play Deadly Alliance and Deception. I really like the 3D Mortal Kombat games. Are they perfect? Nowhere near. They're broken messes, and I can see that, but I can also see that there's a lot of fun to be had with those games, and I have more fun with those games than I do the 2D ones minus Mortal Kombat 10. It's always been my dream for Mortal Kombat in the modern era to return to the 3D games or have a healthy medium that exists between 2D and 3D. I don't really know what that looks like, but ultimately I would like them to go back to being 3D. And I don't think there's anything wrong with you in the comment section or you with YouTube channels voicing these opinions. I think we should be able to speak up about them. If this sort of stuff was happening with Tekken and Street Fighter, I think those communities would probably speak up. Maybe they wouldn't speak in the same fashion that the Mortal Kombat community does, but I think they would speak up. Now, because I have my hand in several pies, and even outside of fighting games, there are games that I've played to a decent level. I played Uncharted 4 with my friends. We climbed the leaderboards very quickly. I've played loads of different games, and so if you see me talking about a specific game on here, it's because I have some sort of vested interest. I have no interest in pigeonholing myself into one section where I'm only talking about one game. And that's completely fine if people do that and if that's their thing. That's just not my thing. I have a wide collection of games that I love. Some of them have nothing to do with competing. For example, Silent Hill. The videos are no longer on my channel for reasons that I can't actually go into, unfortunately, but I had a lot of Silent Hill critiques on my channel because Silent Hill for a long time was my favorite horror game and I didn't like the road that it was going down. And then they dropped PT and I was really excited for Silent Hills, and then the game got scrapped because of all of the problems with Kojima, and I made loads of videos very vocal about that. Some of them are still on my channel if you search for them, but unfortunately most of them are gone. My favorite one is actually gone. Again, reasons I can't actually go into, unfortunately. But that's to give you guys some background on me. me. Not to go on it for too long because I've been a gamer all my life, so I could be here all day giving you guys a history lesson on me. But as for the state of the scene and the state of the community, yes, there are bad actors in the Mortal Kombat scene, 100%. And yes, there's going to be people you disagree with, and I'm one of those people. I know that people come to my videos and they disagree with some of my points. I see the comments. Now, I understand the overwhelming amount of comments that I get. They're very positive, but I do think it's fair to point out the people that are critical of you and the people that want to offer some pushback. I think that's a fair thing to do. I don't take it as attacks. I don't take it as slights. Sometimes when we talk over Twitter, it can sound a bit more aggressive, and that's why I always encourage people to get on a Discord call and have a conversation. Some people don't like doing that because they're worried that they're going to be shown up. It's very easy to type out a bunch of words behind the keyboard and sound smart, but when someone puts you on the spot, it's very easy, if you don't know how to talk to people, to be pulled apart. So I also understand why people don't want to get on Discord calls and talk, but I am going to be having a conversation with Tom Brady, and I've also messaged Dynasty because we spoke very briefly and I wanted to see if he wants to join the call. And you know what? If you are a pig of the heart, or if you are somebody like him that disagrees and you want to get your voice out there and you want to have a conversation about this openly, I have no problem with you joining the Discord call. Obviously, that's not an open invitation to every single person. We can't have everyone joining. But if you're some prominent figure in the scene and you disagree with me, I don't mind you jumping on. To be honest with you, I would prefer that. I don't really like echo chambers. I like it when somebody is opposed to what I'm saying, because maybe they might teach me something that I'm not aware of, or they might change my line of thinking. So if you're a content creator, if you're a pro player, if you're somebody that wants to say something and you have your sentiments towards my content, Tom Brady's content, Destiny's content, or the state of the Mortal Kombat community, I think we should talk about it. I don't think there's any point in us screaming at each other and making ad hominem attacks on each other. Although I understand sometimes feelings get involved and you cuss each other out. I'm no stranger to that. There's definitely individuals on here that if I get on a Discord call with them now, I'm going to rinse them. But other than that, I think it would be healthy to have some discourse and a back and forth. But if not, I'm more than happy to sit and talk to Tom Brady or to whoever else that will entertain it offline. It doesn't have to be on a call, but I do think it's good to do it online so that everybody else can see it, and maybe we can all come. There's going to be a point where we all come together. That will happen. There'll be a point where the NRS scene is united. It might not be under the NRS banner. It might be when Mortal Kombat is sold off to another company. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. But there will come a time when we get a Mortal Kombat game that we can all be happy with. But for now, I think the conversation should continue. I think we should continue interacting on Twitter. And I think if the guys at NRS are interested in their scene and interested in talking to us, they should. I understand why there's certain people they won't want to interact with, because those people don't really have any constructive points to make. They're just busy shouting into the ether. I get that. But ultimately, we're all just passionate about Mortal Kombat and we want to see it do well. So that talk will probably happen tomorrow if all things go according to plan. But I need to go to the gym now and I need to make sure my dogs are fed. So I will catch you guys next time. Take care and peace.